5 decisions where I think more often than not, gut is going to beat the data. One is keeping a money losing menu item. So that sounds weird, right? Because I wrote that book, Menus That Sell, that's right behind me. It's all about menu engineering, cutting out the fat in your menu, getting rid of things that don't make you money. All of that is things you should focus on. But even in the book I mentioned, sometimes people just like something and you want to keep it around and you don't want to raise the price on it. That's okay. When we have an anchor on our menu that's all about loyalty, that's all about our guests, sometimes it's better to accept that we're not going to make money on that item, but to keep it there. And a great example of this is if you have an item that pulls people in, right? A signature dish that you're known for. Yeah, you want to make money on it, right? But maybe it's not going to be the best gross margin item on our menu because we're actually selling it at a bit of a discount. That's bringing people in the door. It's kind of a perma special, if you will. Keeping that there, that's bringing in business. Because when you have that four top come in because somebody really wants that item, the other three people may or may not order it. You sell 4 of that item to a 4 top, they all have a drink. Yeah, you're pushing on the food, you might be making money on you're making money on the drinks, and that's it. But it gave you a 4 top. So sometimes that losing menu item is actually good for you. What's another place where your gut can beat the numbers? Well, potentially overstaffing a slow shift. Now, obviously, we always want to keep our labor low, and this is going to be somewhat state dependent. If you're in California, if you're in San Francisco, and you're facing some of the highest wages in the country, that's a lot different than if you're in one of the states that still has federal minimum wage, right? Someone for me in Indiana, a server costs $2.13 an hour. Now, I always say pay people more than minimum, but at minimum, that's going to cost me $2.13. In California, it's like San Francisco, I think it's $18 or $19 an hour is the absolute minimum. So in Indiana, it's easier to overstaff than in California. But sometimes I want to be a little bit overstaffed just so that I make sure everybody has a great experience to protect those relationships, allow our service to shine, and to build evangelists in the community that are going to go out and talk about what a great experience they had at your bar. There's a balance here. It's hard to do. Oftentimes, what that means is just accepting a slightly higher labor cost than maybe the math tells you should. But don't be afraid to overstaff or more importantly, maybe said the opposite way. Don't try to make your team so efficient you hurt your guest experience. Efficiency can only go so far with your labor. The third place where I think your gut can beat the data is preserving some inefficient layouts. So I've talked a lot about optimizing layouts, looking at, walk paths in bars, making sure that everything in your operation is geared towards efficiency. But sometimes in a bar, we want that little tucked away booth in the corner that's hard to get to and annoying to serve. Sometimes we want to put something by the bar that's going to make it hard for people to smash up against it and be efficiently served. And that's okay. Your optimization of your layout of your bar should never interfere with your vibe. Vibe comes before layout optimization. So you have to think about that. Another place where I don't think the data wins is, and we've talked about this with hiring a lot, but hire for emotional intelligence over resume. You don't want to hire people that are going to hurt your vibe, hurt your environment, hurt the way that your guests interact with your bar. So oftentimes, if we can hire the right person based upon their attitude, their emotional intelligence versus a resume, we're going to be more successful.